One night a week, usually a Friday or Saturday, I strip away all traces of my male self and embrace my feminine side. The routine is the same: get rid of the little body hair I have from the eyebrows down, get dressed in an outfit that is appropriate for a young lady on a night out. I have a couple of drinks, pop a couple of drinks in my handbag and go out. Now, I'm pretty convincing when dressed. I'm 5'7", I have a full head of long hair that is easily styled, I'm slight, basically, I'm built like a girl. My voice is a giveaway, I can't feminize it. So when I say I go out, I don't actually go anywhere in particular, I just walk around town, I mingle in the hustle and bustle of the crowds of people going from bar to bar. I think other crossdressers will understand the urge to be seen dressed, seen but unseen, not too much scrutiny but maybe admired from afar. I live in an apartment building in the busy part of town. It's nice, nothing too expensive, but it's safe and secure. The landlord of the building, Mark, actually lives in an apartment upstairs from me. He's nice, okay, he's really nice. As far as I knew, he wasn't aware of my girly hobby. If he was, he never let on. He's just a genuinely lovely guy, great landlord. Any issues with the apartment or building are quickly resolved. He does it with a smile. He lives alone, he's always here or working in the gardens outside. He's easily 6'3", very well built, not a gym bunny but solid and strong, black hair, short with a few strands of gray. He's 56, I'm only 25, the age difference doesn't matter when I was fantasizing about him. I would imagine various scenarios that involved him discovering my secret. Again, I wanted to be seen, except, in these scenarios, he'd know it was me, Alex, the quiet young man downstairs who blushes when you tease him about his Hollywood hair. He does call me that. It's pretty obvious I blow dry it. Fantasizing was fine for a while until I decided to take that step, the step from fantasy to reality. Admittedly, it was a dangerous step. Mark literally owns the building I live in. I didn't want to do anything that could jeopardize my living situation, but this wasn't just lust. I really liked him, so the plan began to be formed. It was very simple really. I'd do my usual weekend girly walk around town and conveniently forget my keys to the building. I'd then contact Mark by text, apologizing and asking to be let in. He's a night owl anyway, I often hear him pottering around in the early hours. He'd then get to meet Allison, that's the name I use when I'm dressed as the fairer sex, and then I'd see what happens. See what happens probably wasn't the wisest part of the plan, but that was the plan. I wanted him to know my secret, and I guess the see what happens part was me throwing caution to the wind. Even if he freaked out and never mentioned it again, at least he knew and I tried. I didn't think Mark was gay, I wasn't picking up that vibe. I thought he was flirty with me because of my demeanor. My general vibe is very femme for a guy. It's obvious I'm gay. I never had to come out, everyone knew before I did. The crossdressing, I've done it my whole life. But as I entered my late teens and now into my 20s, I've kept it very low-key. The year before I formulated my plan, I had really started to let Allison flourish again, one night a week, but flourish she did. I stood and admired myself in the mirror. The outfit was simple, a tight, mid-thigh length, red dress, classic black stilettos and suede, with a 4-inch heel, a small black, suede jacket and a black clutch purse. My hair was straightened and untied. I looked good. I'm not afraid to throw a bit of self-praise around occasionally. I wasn't going to go far on my walk tonight, basically because the heels are a challenge. I'm usually very good in heels, but these bad boys are in their own league. I finished my vodka, my second of the night, made sure I had everything required for my plan, glanced at my keys hanging on the hook in the hallway. I left them there, and slammed my front door shut to seal the deal. There was no other way back into my apartment now, other than contacting Mark. But it was too early. I headed to the promenade to sit and try to look pretty for a while. I had a few vodka miniatures in my purse. The Dutch courage was a good idea. I was nervous, but an excited type of nervousness. Now it was time. I made my way home. I sat on the bench in the gardens in front of my building. It was quiet. I could hear the people in town still partying, but it was 1 a.m, so the only thing anyone could hear in my neighborhood was the sound of my heels on the concrete path. I had a cigarette and gulped down my last vodka miniature. I had already typed out the message. I read it 20 times before I pressed send. It read, "Hi Mark, it's Alex from number 38. I'm so sorry it's late. I have locked myself out of the building completely. My keys are inside my apartment. I'm outside the front of the building. Please come and let me in. Again, I'm so sorry. You may even have a giggle when you see how I'm dressed. You'll see when you get here. No rush. Thank you." I had decided to take the "it's okay" to laugh approach as a form of self-preservation, I suppose. It was to save my feelings if he genuinely did laugh in my face. I added the kiss mark at the end. I was worried that may be too much, but I pressed send and sat back, crossed my stocking-clad legs and stared at my screen. I didn't know how if he'd even see it. I could have sat there for hours, but no. Less than a minute later my phone lit up with a reply. "No problem, Alex, on my May." I can hardly ignore a curious message like that. "I'm on my way, hang tight." Now I was scared, actually shaking a bit. I gathered myself together and tottered over to the main doors where Mark would let me in. A quick look in the reflection of the glass doors, still looking good, adjusted the hem of my dress, and there he was, coming down the stairs of the lobby. He was looking at me for a second, then he stopped, smiled, and opened the door. "My word, Alex, this is not what I was expecting. You look stunning. I can't believe it's you. I was expecting you to be in a silly costume, dressed as a Smurf or something, not like this. Come inside, it's cold out there." His hand was immediately on my lower back, guiding me inside. I was so happy and relieved. He wasn't laughing or running away, he was interested. He was into it, and I could tell. The lobby was empty. We stood there for a second whilst he gave me the full once-over, head to toe. He took it all in and wasn't trying to hide it. I broke the silence. "I do it to relax. It's a way of expressing my feminine side. I'm a crossdresser. It's usually something I keep low-key, but tonight, I had to let you into my little secret. I'm so grateful you came to my rescue. I'm even more grateful you aren't laughing at me." He looked shocked. "Laugh? Not a chance." I'm a bit taken back, but I'm just shocked at the transformation. I mean, wow, Alex, just wow. Now I was blushing hard. He noticed and pointed it out. You like the compliments, that's good to know." His hands were on my upper arms. He smiled and pulled me in for a hug. He rested his chin on the top of my head. I noticed he was smelling my hair. His hands were active on my back, but he was behaving. "Come on, let's get you into your apartment." He led the way to the elevator. As we rode the elevator, the chit-chat continued. I was still trying to justify reasons for crossdressing, and he was still firing compliments at me. We arrived at my door and he opened it up and held it open. "There you go, Al. Do you use another name when you are dressed like this?" He was still staring at my legs. "It's Allison. I know, not very original, but I like it." "You aren't going anywhere until I've made you a drink. Come inside." I'm not taking no for an answer. "Coffee or something stronger?" I was definitely having a beer. "I'll take a beer if you have one." I took my coat off and told him to make himself comfortable. I nipped to the kitchen. My heart was racing. He was sitting on my couch. I'm in a mini dress and heels. It's actually happening. I walked into the lounge and handed him a beer. I considered sitting right next to him, but thought it would be better to sit on the coffee table in front of him. I wanted him to see me, the whole picture. He was smiling and staring, shaking his head occasionally in disbelief, but it was going well. We talked, but I can't remember what about. I knew where this was going. "You are very good in those heels, Allison. Does it take practice?" I believe he only asked to excuse his staring. "These are quite tricky actually. No ankle strap. There's very little support." I lifted my foot as I said this so he could look closer. He took my stiletto-clad foot in his giant hands. The instant the side of his thumb touched the arch of my foot, I was in a state of bliss. His hands began rubbing calves. I leaned down, it took his roaming hands in mine, and we pulled each other up until we were now standing, nose to nose. "Slow down there, tiger. We will get there. Let's just." He kissed me, hands on my hips. We were locked together tight. I could feel his heartbeat. It was as frantic as mine. I could feel him, how excited he was, but I'm not going to do anything on day one. I want him to come back. We kissed for a while. He had figured out I was putting the brakes on. "Okay, Allison, I'm going home before I start begging." He was making it clear he was leaving reluctantly, but he was being playful. "Mark, you're in my little world now. You are more than welcome to visit. I really enjoyed getting locked out tonight. Next Friday, I'll cook dinner. You can come down and join me. If you are good, maybe we could have a sleepover." He grabbed me. That was the best goodnight kiss I've ever had. "Allison, I'll be here. I'm looking forward to getting to know the new girl in my building."